All right, Miami, you have got some explaining to do. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you're having a great weekend so far. If you are, smash the like button. Let me know down below. It was a rough game for Miami Dolphins fans. It's a little bit of a spoiler alert right in the beginning of the video. We did lose the game today, but in spite of that, I hope that you guys are having a great Sunday, relaxing, chilling, doing whatever you got to do. Before we get into all the big stuff, I do want to get a couple of things out of the way. So number one, I did have a pregame preview analysis recorded, ready, edited, and I was trying to post it this morning so that you guys could get a little something before the game. For whatever reason, my video continued to crash. I tried to post it like 3 different times. It crashed every time, and then it was 12:30, and I decided to just put the kibosh on that. Forget it. I will do more of an in-depth video for you guys post-game. So that's what I'm giving you this week. I do want to apologize for that happening. Maybe my own user error, being an idiot posting my videos. I don't know, but at least I'm getting something for you guys now. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so the Miami Dolphins did lose today's matchup against Seattle. We lost 31-23. It was an 8-point loss. There's some good to talk about. There's some good, but there is a lot of bad. Let's get into, before we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all that stuff, my personal opinions, my personal thoughts. Let's go ahead and talk about stats first, get those out of the way. We'll talk about Miami and Seattle. We'll talk about their stats and then move on, okay? So first things first, let's take a look at Seattle. I'm going to take a look at my notes here. Russell Wilson, 24 of 34 for 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, thanks to Xavier Howard. Really big day in the air for Russell Wilson. He has been playing out of his mind this year. The guy has been unstoppable. He may be a little bit angry that he didn't win the MVP last year because the guy has been on a tear to start this season. Absolutely ridiculous. Highest pass rating in the NFL. I think most touchdowns in the NFL. I think only 2 interceptions at this point now because of today. He's been ridiculous, and the Dolphins couldn't do anything to stop him. So moving past Russell Wilson, got Chris Carson rushing 16 times for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. You got DJ Dallas rushing a couple times for 8 yards. Russell Wilson taking off a few times. Travis Homer, nothing too crazy for the rest of the running backs there, guys who were taking snaps there. Now we move on to receiving. Such a tough day against the Seattle receivers for Miami. There's a lot to talk about whenever we get to the defensive side of the ball for Miami. DK Metcalf, 4 catches, 106 yards. You got David Moore, 3 catches, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Absolutely dominated Noah Igbonogony. Tyler Lockett, a couple of catches for 39 yards. Greg Olsen, 5 catches. Freddie Swain, a couple. And then a bunch of other guys as well. And that was pretty much it for the Seattle offense. They had a very good offensive day, I would say. I mean, they were pretty much doing whatever they wanted to do against Miami's defense. So not the best day defensively for Miami, but let's go ahead and look at the Dolphins offense. So offensively, we've got Ryan Fitzpatrick completing 29 of 45 passes for 315 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, the thing about the 2 interceptions, guys, Ryan Fitzpatrick could have thrown 5 interceptions today. 5. It was a horrible day. It was so bad. There were 3 passes that Fitzpatrick threw, 2 of those right at KJ Wright. The other one, I don't remember who he threw it at, but there were 3 other passes in this game that it was right in the hands of the Seattle defender, and it was either dropped, tipped, whatever it was. But, I mean, they were readily available to be intercepted, picked off. So, guys, this could have easily been a 5 interception day, no touchdowns. This could have been a really nasty day for Fitzpatrick. It honestly was a really rough day to watch anyways. But if even a couple of those passes would have been picked off, it could have been a much worse loss. It could have been a lot more than 8 points for Miami. So Fitzpatrick had a rough day. Rushing, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the leading rusher. 6 rushes, 47 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't want to see another game for the rest of my life, guys. I don't ever want to see another game, another season, another situation where Ryan Fitzpatrick is the leading rusher on this Dolphins team. I can't do it anymore. It's just so bad. There is no reason why a 37-year-old quarterback needs to be your leading rusher. He did it all last season. I don't want to see that anymore. Put the running backs in that we have. Put Myles Gaskin in for more attempts. Put Matt Breida in. We haven't seen any Matt Breida. I mean, very, very, very little. And we traded for him, and he's a good player, and he's established, and he's very versatile. He's dynamic. Put him in the game. Don't let Ryan Fitzpatrick be the leading rusher. I hated that. I don't like seeing our 37-year-old quarterback scrambling and diving head first. I don't want to see him get injured. And I don't like seeing our running backs being underutilized. It just doesn't make sense to me. So Fitzpatrick coming away with the highest rushing total today. You got Myles Gaskin behind him, 10 rushes for 40 yards. You got Matt Breida, 3 rushes for 9 yards. 3 rushes for Matt Breida. Why is he on the team? If you're only going to give him the ball 3 times, why is he on the team? He should be more active. We should see him more. Lynn Bowden Jr., 1 attempt, 5 yards. It was a decent play. It was a wildcat play. I was actually expecting to maybe see a little bit more of him now that he's active, but we didn't see really hardly anything of him. And then you got Jordan Howard, 2 rushes, 2 yards, pretty much par for the course at this point. Let's move on to receiving. Devontae Parker had a really nice game. 10 receptions for 110 yards. That was a really solid game, very active. He did leave the game early on a hamstring or ankle injury. I think the commentator said ankle, but I thought it was his hamstring. He was a beast. Coming back in the game, performing, catching balls, a lot of targets. Good game for him. He had 12 targets. Isaiah Ford, 4 catches for 48 yards. He had a really nice game too, including a huge catch in the 4th quarter. We had a lot of momentum moving down the field. Really nice play from Isaiah Ford. Matt Breida, 3 catches for 39 yards. Use that more. Like I just said, use him more because he's dynamic. You could dump the ball off to him in the backfield. You could rush the ball with him. You could send him out on a route. You can do whatever you want to do with Matt Breida. He's so versatile. Use that more. The one that I want to talk about more than anything, where was Mike Gesicki? 1 catch, 15 yards. That's what we got out of Mike Gesicki today. I don't remember any other passes beyond that one where he was even targeted. And I'm confused by that. I don't understand because Durham Smythe had more catches than Mike Gesicki in this game. 1 catch for 15 yards is not going to cut it if you have someone like Mike Gesicki on your team and you're throwing Durham Smythe more passes than him. I don't like that at all. I hated how they used Gesicki in this game. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's pretty much going to sum up the offensive performance this game. Nothing special at all. So let's go ahead and move on to the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going to move quickly through Seattle because there's actually not a ton to talk about for Seattle on their defensive side. I think a lot of it was just Miami's offense not playing well at all. There were 2 interceptions. One was by Shaquille Griffin. One was by Ryan Neal. Like I said, there were a ton of other opportunities for more interceptions to be had by Seattle, but they just went through the defender's hands for whatever reason. It could have been a much higher total this game, and that is all on Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was not making good throws. And aside from that, only 1 sack on Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was a good thing to see. The offensive line was at least doing a formidable job at protecting him. He was scrambling a lot. He was outside of the pocket a lot. But at least we kept him with a relatively clean jersey. He was able to get out of the pressure, step up in the pocket when he needed to, create that space, and get rid of the ball without getting sacked. So only 1 sack on the day. All right, so we have so much to talk about with Miami's defense. I'm going to try and keep it short. I don't want to keep you guys for like forever because I could talk for a long time about the problems that I saw with Miami's defense. We'll start out with the good. Let's talk about the good things first. There was really one main guy that I do want to touch on, and that was Emmanuel Ogbah. Emmanuel Ogbah had himself a game today. He got after the quarterback. He produced plenty of pressure. And that's one thing that we did improve on this game. That's one thing that I think the unit as a whole, that defensive line, did a better job. But more specifically, Emmanuel Ogbah, and Shaq Lawson a couple of times too. But Ogbah was always in the play. He was always in Russell Wilson's face, getting pressure. He got a sack. He had a couple of nice plays against the run. He was just setting the edge properly, contributing where he needed to contribute. He was just active. And that was the best thing that I took away from the defensive performance today was Ogbah earned his money today. That's something that I haven't seen anybody do on this defense this year. Nobody has gone out there and said, this is why I'm making the money that I'm making. I deserve this. I haven't really seen that from anybody yet. Ogbah is the first guy to do it. Total props to Emmanuel Ogbah. Really, really nice job. So let's talk about someone who is absolutely not earning their money, earning their place. This guy has been so bad this year, guys, and I don't want to be too negative. I don't want to be pessimistic or horrible or anything like that, but guys, we need to talk about Noah Igbonogony. I put personally, and I know a lot of people would disagree and say that this is on Fitzpatrick, but I would put a lot of the reason why we lost today on Noah Igbonogony. There were 3 passes that he gave up, blown coverage, horrible coverage, 3 times. One of those was right before halftime, and it was right before halftime. We had just come up with a nice drive. We had just put points on the board. It was 10-9 at that point, if I'm not mistaken. And we were doing a good job at slowing down the Seattle offense. And all of a sudden, one of the worst blown coverages that I've ever seen in my life led Seattle all the way down to within 15 yards of the end zone. They wound up scoring a touchdown, and we went into halftime with just the absolute air let out of the tires. It really kind of halted everything in its tracks. All the momentum that we had shifted towards our side, all of the hard work that we had put into coming back and fighting our way into this game properly was absolutely tossed into the trash when Noah Igbonogony just absolutely made a bonehead play. And it wasn't just that, guys. He gave up a couple of more massive gains to David Moore. David Moore absolutely made Noah Igbonogany his today. In every sense of the word, Noah Igbonogany got torched. He gave up a massive touchdown on blown coverage. He gave up a massive completion on blown coverage twice. This is our first round cornerback. When Noah Igbonogany is playing the way that he is, I get that he's a rookie. I get that this is his first, few games in the NFL, but there's no excuse for the ridiculously blown coverage that he has produced for this Miami defense in multiple games consecutively. I mean, it has been almost every single game. There has been a massive lapse of judgment from Igbonogany defensively, and that's something that we can't have happen. And I don't understand why it's happening. Is he not as good as projected, as talked about? Because some people talk about him like he is just the prototype cornerback. He's a lockdown guy, shut down. He should have been drafted higher than where we drafted him. But I don't see that. I don't understand why we drafted him in the first round, and he's not even performing he's performing like an undrafted cornerback. So I'm having a struggle justifying why we would have ever spent a first round pick on someone like Igbonogany, who is giving up play after play after play on these massive gains. And some of them are putting us in a situation that compromises our ability to win games. So I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's his, potential. I don't know what it is, but Miami has to come up with some adjustment here. We have to make changes so that we can put our guys in the best position to win. So that's all the rant out of the way. I'm sorry. Sometimes the rants happen, and it is what it is. But guys, there were plenty of good things to take away from this game. Up until the fourth quarter, guys, this was a close game consistently. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. You have to look at, even though it was a frustrating game, it was a gritty game. It was hard fought. We were always working. We were always coming back. We were always in the fight. It's not like Seattle was running away with this game, and then we had garbage points that we threw on late in the fourth quarter, and that's why the score is what it is. This was a competitive game for the majority of it. And so I was happy to see that. I'm glad that we were competitive against one of the best teams in the NFL, against one of the best offenses in the NFL. There was competitiveness that was happening. There were adjustments that we made that I thought needed to happen. The pressure on Russell Wilson was there. It was great to see. The offense needed to do better, but some of the passing game was opening up. We were doing a little bit of a better job in some areas. But guys, it needs to continue to go in the right direction. So a couple of things, guys. If you agree with me, disagree with me, regardless, leave some thoughts, leave comments, concerns, all that stuff down below in the comments section. And guys, if you have not already and you're new to the channel, definitely feel free to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can get notifications when we're putting out videos like this one. We've got a lot of awesome content coming soon for you. So guys, hang in there. I know it was a frustrating day, but I thank you for watching, and there's a bright future ahead for this team. I know there is. And we got to stay optimistic anyways, because it's our team. So guys, appreciate you watching. Have a great week. And as always, fins up.